What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and I am here today, you guys, with a brand new review for Love and Marriage Huntsville, you guys, season 6, episode 25. This episode is titled "A Stormi is Brewing," you guys. Now, before we go ahead and get into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and have me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and sharing the video, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's go ahead and discuss Love and Marriage Huntsville, shall we? All right, you guys. So I guess I'll start up with the Fletcher since that's technically where the episode ended. Now, what I will say about the Fletchers is much like I felt about the same way that I felt about the other night on Bell Collective with JJ and his mom and so Gucci them, how I felt that that scene was made up. I'm starting to see this with the Fletchers. I'm starting to feel like some of this stuff was just put on, they were putting 20 on 10, so to speak, because I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is 100% a real scene. Because I'm still kind of confused as to why Nell was screaming at her daughter the way she screamed at her, talking about, shut the hell up, Lexi. Like, I was still confused by that. And so that's where we picked up at. And they were talking to their son, what's his name? Chris Jr., right? And so Chris Jr. at one point worked for his brother. He no longer works for his brother. And to me, it was sort of giving the fact of maybe this son is, spoiled, entitled, and he, you guys have given him the freedom to think that he can do whatever he wants to do without having to pay people back or without even repercussions. I don't know. So then after that, speaking of which, his brother also fired him. And then we get into it about their daughter. So their daughter, Lexi, gets into it with the family. And I was like, this is very interesting. Because Lexi is talking about how she feels that she was treated differently from her brothers and her sister, right? And I was like, okay. Sometimes people do feel that way, that they are treated differently from their siblings. And, she was talking about the fact that her brother and her sister drive, a Mercedes. One drives a Mercedes, one drives a Charger, Challenger, one of the two. And when she got her first car was basically a hoopty, right? And I was like, okay. I mean, I guess I get where you're coming from. Not 100%, but I guess, semi understand her a little bit. And they were like, that's not true, Lexi. And that's one thing that I cannot stand is when people come in and try to tell you what your experiences was. If that's her experience, then it is her experience. Now, could it have been a situation where Nell and Chris probably have tried to do everything they can for her and maybe she's not appreciative of it? I don't know. It's something there. It's not just all on her. And so, like I said, the arguments went left field. So at one point she told, and she's like, I've never been on family vacations with you guys. I'm not that close to you guys. And I was like, if you're not that close to them, why the hell are you here for this damn scene? Like, that was kind of weird to me, but neither here nor there. And so that happened, right? And they got into it. And at one point, they were talking about she's never been on a family vacation with them. And, she's like, the last vacation y'all had, you took your employees. And Nell was like, yeah, it was an employee appreciation. And I do know like in my hometown, there's this little convenience store, gas station, convenience store, whatever you want to call it, right? And every year, I think it's like around March or so, they do something for their employees. And every year, it's been like this every year since I was a little bitty boy, where they will close the store down for a full week, and they'll go down to Mexico on a vacation, and it's just the staff that goes. And so, yeah. But, like I said, she feels like she is being left out. And again, like I said, if that is her experience, they really can't say, you can't take away from her what her experiences are with the family. And I didn't appreciate that. So she left, and her and Chris got into it, and I was like, oh, this is going to be very interesting, right? So she eventually left, and so after that, we see another scene with Chris, and Chris and Nell are talking at her daycare, right? And so Chris is just saying that he feels like with Lexi, she's talking about being mistreated, but the things that she kept bringing up were all very materialistic things. Okay, I get that you say that she's talking about materialistic things, but let's not negate how she feels. That was the problem that I was having, because it felt like to me they were trying to negate how she feels and what she feels, right? So Nell also feels like she gets the short end of the stick with, Lexi. And I don't know if they were trying to say that maybe her mother told her some things that might not have necessarily been true. I don't know if that's what they were trying to imply, but that's what I got from what they were saying. And then what I will say when it comes to Nell's children and her niece, she's talking about the fact that they don't come to her and they go to Chris. Do you think that maybe it could be the fact that they know if they come to you, you're gonna be with the rah rah bullshit, and if they go to dad is not gonna be all up their ass and nagging on them as much, right? And then at the end of it, Chris suggested that they do counseling, and I agree with them. I do agree with them. Like I said, I do believe that the dinner scene, there was a little bit added on to it, but there probably are some issues there that they need to sit down and unpack with each other. And so Nell agrees to go into counseling. And that is all we got for the Fletchers in this episode. Now, what I will say is I do like the Fletchers. I just thought that dinner scene was a little interesting, especially when we picked it up this week. I was like, wow, this is our first time meeting this family and we're getting all of this. Okay, Carlos, cool. I still think it was a little bit, a bit much. I think it was added on, but I will say, however, it's not as bad as that dumbass scene over there on Bell Collective with So Gucci and JJ. I will take this over that. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, you guys. And let's pause here and let's move forward, you guys. All right, you guys. So I don't typically like to put these two together, but today I'm gonna have to put Melody and Martell scenes together because honestly, neither one of them gave anything in this episode. Only thing I can say about Martell is a motherfucking leech, you guys. Martell is a leech. So you guys know that Chris has been trying to get Martell to move out of that damn house, right? And Martell has drug his feet because he was like, well, I can't move out because where am I, what about me and my kids? What about me and my kids, sir? If that person who owns that house wants to sell it, wants to move into that house, they don't give a fuck about you or your kids. I hate to say it like that, but nobody cares about you or your kids. When this is my property, you are squatting on my property. Get your black ass off of my property and go find you something. I don't care what you got to do. If you got to go stay at a hotel, if he's talking about, I need something for me and my 5 kids. Okay, well, you should have thought about that a long time ago. You should have thought about that. But like I said, he's finally moved out of the place and he called up Chris, right? And so he was talking to Chris, letting Chris know that he's finally gotten out the house. And Chris was like, thank you for doing that. And Martell was like, I would thank you for your patience, but you really didn't have a lot of patience with me. Again, that is someone else's property, Martell. Oh Jesus, Martell is so entitled and so selfish. I see why him and Sheree were faking the funk of being in a relationship with each other. I can definitely see it. But yeah, you guys, that's it. He did talk to they did talk about the situation with Martell and Nell, and so they decided that they need to sit down with each other and have a conversation with each other about what, hell if I know, but it is what it is, you guys. And then the scene with Melody, Mel's scene was literally nothing to me. So Mel's best friend is, over to her place and she is helping her with some of these orders that she got, right? And so Mel is asking her best friend, like, hey, you weren't at my name change ceremony and I'm just trying to figure out, like, why weren't you there? And her friend was like, now, girl, you know damn well that I told you that I had to go to my niece's 16th birthday and I couldn't miss that. And it was in Atlanta. So Mel was like, so you were in Atlanta? She said, yes, I told you that. And they were like, she was like, well, I thought you were okay with it. And Mel was like, she really wasn't okay with it. And she was like, so what can I do to make it up to you? Let's have another party. She's like, another one. She's like, no, maybe what you can do is help me find, another partner. Help me with dating. And so the friend was like, okay, cool. So they talk about Mel's love language. She talked about his physical touch. They talked about a lot of stuff, and I honestly wasn't listening. What I will say is, it didn't sound like to me that her best friend, and mind you, this is her best friend from college. They were roommates, so her best friend was there from the beginning with her relationship with Martell. They saw each other they saw marriage, them having kids, and all that kind of stuff, right? So she knows Martell. Now, from what I was looking at, it didn't seem like Ms. What is her best friend's name? I forgot what her best friend's name is. But it didn't seem like the best friend was too fond of Martell, because the way she was talking about him, I was like, you can tell that woman don't really like Martell all that so much. Feelings mutual, sis. So they were talking about dating, and so the friend was like, we got to get out of Huntsville. And she's like, okay. And so Mel said, how about international vagina? I was like, Mel, I don't know if that is a good thing to say, but it is what it is, right? But Mel says she's been dating, some good, some not so good, and that's to be expected when it comes down to dating. You're gonna kiss a few toads and stuff, before you get to your Prince Charming and all that kind of stuff. But hey, it is what it is. But anybody is a step up from that cheating ass, lying ass ex-husband of hers, you guys. But let's pause here and wrap up the episode, you guys. All right, you guys. So the end of the episode, well, the end of this review, so to speak. It's not the end of the episode, because the end of the episode, we had Stormi and Kiki. But I'm going to talk about Stormi real quick. So Stormi and Courtney, they were talking, right? And so Stormi is telling Courtney how busy she's been with, Canvas, as well as being the mediator between between Kiki and between Tiffany, right? I love the fact that when she called Tiffany a Karen, I was like, exactly. You know, it's so funny that Tiffany wants to be this big bad wolf, but I don't think that that's who she is. And I feel like deep down, if Kiki were to try to put the paws on her, I don't think she's ready for that. Remember how she was with Destiny? Like, let's remember how she was with Destiny when Destiny was ready to fight her. She wasn't about that action. Tiffany got mouth almighty, tongue everlasting, and ain't got no hands to back it up, right? So they also are talking about business, right? And she's talking about Kyle and how things are really going, since bringing Kyle on. Things have been good. She was surprised because after 2020, she didn't think that they would even have a business to, still run. And I'm like, wow, I wonder what really happened behind the scenes with her business, because we met Stormi on what season was that we met her? I don't even remember which season that was, where Mel was on her property and she filmed that video. But I know that was either, that had to be after the pandemic or during the pandemic. I cannot remember. I don't remember. I literally don't remember, but you guys will tell me in the comment section. Not that I really care, but I'm glad that Stormi, her business has come back to where it was. Now, she did say that she got rid of some of the snakes that were working in her company. And I think that was a problem with Stormi, because if you guys remember that episode, what was it, last season, when she didn't want to fire, when she didn't really want to get rid of people. And that goes to, I think that's a testament to who she is, that she is a kind, forgiving person, and that she wants to see the best in people. And, she's employing these people, and she doesn't want to take away their livelihood. And I understand that. But when you got to fire people, it's time to fire them. And especially when she said that somebody was forging her signature, yeah, at that point, you got to go. I don't care who you are. You can be cousin, brother, sister, mama, daddy, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, best friend, whoever. The moment you start going behind my back and forging my signature on anything, on check, on any kind of documents, that is a point of no return at that point, because you are telling me that you have no respect for me and that I can't trust you. So at that point, you gotta go. Now, Courtney did tell her that he brought Stormi's cousin Junior back, and she was she was like, so we just fired him to bring him back. Ugh, yeah, looked like that way. So she also told him about wanting to get Kiki and Tiffany together, right? Because she doesn't feel like the issues with them are that significant, and she would just like for them to squash it, right? So we do see as she's invited Kiki and Tiffany over to her guest home, right? Kiki comes in and she's talking about how hot it is. I don't know. Now, again, I don't know nothing about methadone, and from what I've heard, there used to be a commercial back in the 90s, I believe, 90s or 2000, that if you knew anybody that took methadone, to call that number. And I always thought methadone was not good. I didn't think methadone was a good thing. I never thought methadone was a good thing, but she's taking it. She's talking about how she sweats so profusely with the methadone. And again, I'm sweating. You can't go to rehab and detox, like you can't go to rehab and wean yourself off of the drugs. You have to take the methadone. Again, I don't know much about drugs, and I don't want to know much about drugs, but it just sounds very interesting. I'm not saying that she's doing anything. I'm just questioning why would they put her on something that, again, from what I've always thought, methadone wasn't good for you, but maybe it is. I don't know. Who knows? Let me know what you guys think, you guys. Let me know if you guys know anything about that. And so we see as Tiffany's getting ready to show up, right? Because she told her that Tiffany was going to come. Now, Tiffany, girl, I'm so sorry, but the way that you were talking about Kiki in that interview, you insinuated that woman may have been a lesbian at one point. You said that she is trying to be relevant. That's you. You're trying to be relevant too as well, because nobody's checking for you on this show. You're the most irrelevant person on this show. When you're not on, when there's an episode that goes by and I don't see Tiffany on here, I'm like, oh my God, I wonder why we didn't see Tiffany this week. You're the most irrelevant person on this show. Let's keep that number above. And then you sat there and said that you saw her jumping a fence at a game so that way she didn't have to pay to come in. So you're insinuating that the woman is broke. So you've called her broke, a lesbian, and she's trying to stay relevant by using you? Ma'am. You are the last person on this show that she would use for relevancy. She has her cousin on this show. Melody is on the show, who is her friend. So if she wanted to be relevant, I would hitch my wagon to Melody or my cousin Letitia. But Tiffany, who, like I said, very little airtime on this show. Okay, Tiffany, like, girl, miss me with the BULLSHIT. But that was the episode, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, and share the video, you guys. And until the next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, be blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next one, you guys. So I'll see you guys later on. I know I said it early. I know I said it throughout the weekend that I was gonna do the Golden Bachelor. I'm still gonna do it, you guys. Just give me some time to do it, and then I'll see you guys later on tonight for what comes on tonight. What comes on tonight? Tonight we have Real Housewives of Potomac and Married to Medicine, you guys. I'll see you guys later for those. So, bye, guys.